we'll set that up later. They're there. Hey, y'all. So I'm a Vanderbilt student, and I think that in my time here, I've learned a lot of things. So I'm actually living with a bunch of physics majors right now, and they all decided that they were going to take a intensive elementary Italian course, like a fun little Italian course, right? That'd be fantastic, lots of fun. Unfortunately, that was incorrect. After taking quantum mechanics and very complex physical classes, they struggle deeply learning a list on list of varieties of pasta. Just really struggling. So I'll come in and I'll be very drunk and just shouting pasta words. But throughout my time, I've actually found that I've learned a lot of different Italian words. So I'm gonna teach you some. So one of them that's very commonly used is the pizza, and that's pizza. And then another one that they use quite a lot is pasta. It's pasta. And a final one that's a little bit more niche is so when you drink so much that you are vomiting and cannot remember anything, that is a ravioli. It's a classic Italian word. But there are times when where I learned some more advanced concepts. So you know how like Italian is a Romance language, and sometimes those languages have words that have a meaning in our language, but we don't have a good word for it. So like Schadenfreude, whatever. It means like to find pleasure in someone's pain. That's a useful word. We use it in our language, right? It takes a while to explain. But in Italian, they have a word that's spaghettone, which means to love from afar. Or also in the American slang, booty from a distance. I think that's beautiful. No, I'm actually just screwing y'all. That means really big spaghetti. Like if you just had one massive spaghetti, that'd be a spaghettone, that's cute. Yeah, so over time, learning more and more, sometimes they have a word of the day. So one day I'm walking by and I look at this word and it says dingleberry is darzinello. And I'm like, what's a dingleberry? And so I'm thinking about it. I'm like, well, yeah, it means you're being a doofus, right? You're like, oh, silly Chudley, slipping on a banana. What a dingleberry. That makes a lot of sense to me, right? Or like if you were coming home after a long day on the fields and your mom has baked you a piping hot dingleberry pie, and you're like, Mama, that would make a lot of sense to me, Or you're sitting on the couch and you're watching some Phineas and Ferb, and Doofenshmirtz pops up. Betty the Platypus. You see, I have my dingleberry bush. I'm like, yeah, no, for sure. So I had all these options in my head, right? And it ended up that I looked it up, and all of those were actually wrong. A dingleberry is, so in American culture, we actually wipe with toilet paper, so occasionally we don't wipe enough, and so little balls of poop dangle on your butt hair, and that is a dingleberry. And so the literal translation to Italian is Tarzanello, which means little Tarzan. So the Tarzan is on the vine. Yeah, I'm imagining like an Italian man, just like, Tarzan. Like, that's ridiculous, right? But yeah, no, I've learned a lot. So when I first came to Vanderbilt, I was sort of like new to the whole gendered pronouns things. It kind of confused me, and it was not because of the gendered part. I got that. There was tons of genders and all sorts of things, but the pronouns part really tripped me up. I was never good at grammar. So for the first little while, I was like, I kept on getting them confused with like prepositions. So they asked me, what are your 3 gendered pronouns? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, there are like 52 gendered pronouns, first of all. And like, they're not mine, right? They're everybody's. So I'd pop them out, So I'd be like, between, by, for. And then, they asked for just 3. I know 52, so might as well pop out a 4th one, beyond, And so I'm imagining if I left that room and they were having a conversation, like, I'm pretty sure between was confused between prepositions and pronouns. Didn't beyond use 4 of them? Like, the interdimensional pronoun. Very progressive. But like, if in that moment I was like on the LGBTQI plus spectrum, they'd have to like add another letter, which would be like a question mark, but then make it Spanish and turn it upside down. And I would reside in that little space right there. But sometimes I wonder, wait, what if I switched it the other way around, right? Hey man, where you at? Whoa, I am he the Jimmy Johns. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm him the Jimmy Johns. But I was watching a movie the other day about feminism. It was the 3rd Lord of the Rings, right? Of course. And this evil being was like flying around on his evil dragon, and he drops down on the battlefield, no face, and he's like, "No man can defeat me." I'm like, good point. But then the soldier comes out, swing, I'm a woman, swing, kills the dragon, boop, stabs him in the face, foiled by gendered language, And so I was thinking about it, and I was like, at first I thought this was the bad guy, but something makes me think that was not so. So earlier in the movie, he was fighting an old, white, powerful man named Gandalf, and he says, "The world of men will fall." And I'm like, well, he's fighting men, that's terrible. And then I'm like, wait a second. This man is a goddamn feminist icon. We're opening up the world to women and all other genders? Hell yeah. So I feel like if he had, a Tinder profile, number 1, feminist. Number 2, tall, dark, got a big lizard. Classy. But I think that this actually explains a lot to me about our own administration, why we changed from freshman to first year. Zebos was dropping all of these prophecies like, no freshman will drive a car, and all freshmen must take a first year W course, And so all the freshmen are like, man, but all the fresh women are driving around in their Mazdas, taking full science courses, foiling this prophecy. So he changed it, And so I think that the real lesson I've gotten here, right, is that ultimately, if you're doing an oracle, you're doing a prophecy, right, don't be a silly little dingleberry, right, and make sure you check your gendered proteins. All right. Now for the second part. All right, let's plug this in right here. Just like stick it in there. Don't make it weird, guys. All right. Now let's. I'm gonna sit right here. No. That would have required planning. All right. Sometimes you stick it in the wrong hole at first. Okay. You gotta tune these things. All right, sounds good. All right, so I have not come prepared with a song or anything, and I need your help. So can I get a noun? Pickle. All right. Can I get an emotion? What? You want me to write a song about a sad pickle? All right, I do not know this person. Like for real. Like we have never met before, so I will do my best to write a song about a sad pickle. Oh dear God.